on, guys? Matt Schaeffer back here with another Tesla Model X for you. This one a 2018 P100E. We did a Musaic Hi-Fi 3 build here, so let's check it out. This would be the inside of the trunk. Behind here we have a JL10TW1 subwoofer enclosure. I can overlay a picture here. Basically made a down-firing enclosure that mounts behind the panel, much like the factory enclosure. So this panel comes up, and down here we basically have a grill vent for the subwoofer. So the subwoofer can vent out of this. We created this, got some grill cloth back there so you can't see back there, but this allows air to move from behind this panel to not allow so much pressure to build up behind this panel here. Even have the JL branding there. So right here is our amp rack. Under this removable cover, we have a Helix V12 DSP amplifier, and we have a JLRD 501. As you can see, we branded the front of that with Helix. We branded it with, obviously, Tesla. We have remove for service there, so somebody working on the car knows that something is under there that has to be serviced. In this case, our audio equipment. Everything lights up there when the audio system turns on to let you know everything should be on and playing. And use some laser acrylic there that's backlit with some white LEDs. We have our top rail there that allows things from sliding off. So if you want to store stuff on top of this, underneath that other panel, you can do so. And when you drive, it's not going to then fall off the top because that rail will catch it. That's wrapped in matching Alcantara suede to match the headliner there. We have a USB here for connecting to our V12 DSP amplifier. And then I'll show you what is underneath this panel here. The top basically slides forward, and then right there, that little plug here is our lights, so you can remove this panel from the car. And then we have our Helix V12 DSP amplifier, followed by our RD 501. And then we have our fusing and connections, so you can easily service everything in the car. Wires run behind the factory panels there, behind that panel there, so very neat, clean, and you can easily get to anything if you did have to service any of this equipment. And then it all slides back in place like so. And then again, if you see there, that allows you at least a few inches of storage for like your charger cable or whatever else you might want to put up there. So super clean, super factory looking, and this is what we always try and do, even on something that's we consider pretty simplistic. Still have all of your space there for storage. And again, this was more of an OEM type install. It's where we are trying to retain all the functionality of the car as it came. All right, so an overview of the inside. Everything appears 100% factory because it is. We have our 8-inch Illusion C8 mid-bass down here in the factory location. We had to make speaker adapters. We sound treated these doors. I can throw over some pictures here so you can see what it looks like behind the scenes of the door panel. Then moving up to the top, we have our Illusion C3 two-way component, which is a 3-inch and a tweeter separate. All of these run active in the car, meaning every speaker gets its own channel of amplification, EQing, time alignment, level adjustment, all that kind of stuff. So we have full control over all the speakers here. The mid-range is on the dash in the factory location up there. And then again, the tweeter is right there behind the factory grille. Nothing had to be modified. It fit right in, it bolted right in. So there is no permanent modification to the car. Even the woofers there, the factory woofers are 8-inch, which swaps out to a new 8-inch. We just had to make that acrylic adapter for everything to fit perfectly. As far as the rear speakers, we just left them factory. They're right there. They run passive from the factory output. We don't ask a lot of the rears for what we do for sound quality. Therefore, a lot of times we'll keep the rears factory, and we'll use that budget. If you intended using any kind of your budget for the rears, we'll find somewhere else to put it to make the car sound better. So with this, we have 3 different presets. This is the Helix conductor controller for the Helix DSP amplifier. They make 2 versions of this. They have a director, which is an LCD version, which we did in the model Plaid. that we can show you here. I'll link a video to the end of this one. But this one here is a conductor. It's a lot more simplistic. It's a lot more OEM looking. I really like it because, again, it gives you a visual adjustment on the volume, the sub bass, and then obviously the preset you're on. So for this case, we have 3 different presets. Preset 1, if I select it there, we're on preset 1 now. This is going to be our factory stereo. So anything that runs through the MCU like it did from factory is going to run through this preset. So obviously it's going to sound much better than factory running through this preset. We're EQing for our speakers. You still get all the chimes, the notifications, the navigation voice, the Bluetooth voice. So again, you don't lose any features by doing it this way, but obviously in this case there is no amp interface for this car to give you a perfect digital signal. Therefore we always add a digital signal, which in this case would be preset 2. So we hit that there, move it to preset 2, hit enter. Now we're on preset 2. This is going to be the ASE BT Bluetooth input, and this connects Bluetooth through our phone in order to transmit the music, right? So the music is being transmitted directly to the DSP. It's not running through the factory Tesla system, therefore, not messing up the signal. Whereas in the Tesla system, we're trying to mix and sum all of these signals together to get a good usable audio signal. Whereas this is a perfect digital signal that goes directly to our DSP and then to out to our speakers. So this is always going to sound much better. The equivalent is like saying that the factory stereo is like a 480i TV signal or 480p, and then going to this is more of like a 1080i. And we'll get to the next signal source that's a little bit better here in a second. But the cool part about this is you can actually Bluetooth connect to the factory MCU and the ASE BT at the same time, and you just say you want to select the audio to output to the ASE BT. So the cool thing about that is we could then go on phone, connect your phone, and then whatever you're listening to is going to still show on the MCU, and you can still control track forward, track back on the MCU and go through your audio like you're connected to the factory MCU. But the audio is going digitally to the Bluetooth, which is really cool because it's giving you the best of both worlds. It's like you're still using the radio, but in fact the audio is being diverted directly to the processor, eliminating all the necessary reasoning for summing, mixing, and correcting the factory signal that just isn't there. So this is always imperative on cars where we don't have any kind of amp interface from another company in order to give you a good signal from the factory. Moving along to preset number 3, hit that there, preset number 3, enter. Okay, so now this is going to be an input for a digital audio player handheld, which in this case this is an Astel & Kern SP2000. And the benefit with something like this is made to play audio, right? There is no expense spared when it comes to creating this to reproduce music. They use some of the best DACs in the world that are available at the moment, and this gives you a unbelievably noticeable difference in your soundstage, your width, your depth, the separation of everything that you're hearing in the music. Everything just gets way wider, deeper, and it's because of this, the DACs of this for the most part. Obviously this can play some higher resolution audio, which that could be a whole nother video on what is and what isn't high res, but at the same point, the biggest difference that this is going to make is based on the DACs in the player, but it does have the ability to play, your high res FLAC, DSD files, things like that, and we run it analog out of the player. That way we utilize the DACs of the player, because if we're going digital from this, then we're using the DAC of the DSP, and now we're very selective on what we can physically play from the player, because we can't play DSD or anything like that, because the DAC of the DSP will not process that. So that is why we go analog out. We just put it in line out mode. So we flick that, we play it in line out mode. So it gives us 3-volt out fixed directly to our DSP. And then we're using this for our master volume. To adjust sub bass, you hit it once. That's going to be our sub volume. Neat, very nice, neat, and integrated. We basically modified the pocket here, rewrapped it in Alcantara, and now that is going to be your master volume, which when you're listening on the factory MCU, you just keep this all the way up and then you use your factory steering wheel controls like you did normally, right? When you're using the Bluetooth phone or this, that is going to be your master volume at that point. So the volume is not going to be through this anymore because you're not using this for audio. You're using your phone or you're using this for audio. So hope that makes sense. It's very easy to use once you kind of get the hang of how everything interfaces in. And under the hood, we have a master circuit breaker. So if you want to completely disconnect the audio system from the car, you can hit that circuit breaker and that will completely disconnect this audio system from the car. So, you know, for whatever reason, if there were any problems or you wanted to isolate the audio system from the car because Tesla's doing service on it or whatever, you can easily hit a button and then everything is completely shut off and isolated from the physical Tesla system. Now, to the contrary belief that installing audio equipment affects range in a Tesla, what you have to understand, and how it was put to me by some Tesla engineers way back when I first started doing these cars for audio systems, especially big builds, is the amount of power it takes to propel this car down the street at 60 miles an hour for 1 mile is not even comparable, not even close to comparable to that of running an audio system, you know, for a day, if you will. It's completely different. You know, a lot of people associate a typical car battery that is used to start a car with an engine, and that battery is used for only starting the vehicle. And when your audio system is on and the car is off, obviously you can kill that battery pretty quickly depending on the battery. So again, the way these batteries, like the traction battery, which is the main high voltage battery in this car, works in comparison to a automotive battery is not comparable, right? So this does not affect range. I've done probably 50 to 60, 70 Teslas audio systems, and we've never had any negative impact on range or anything of the sorts. So that should make you feel a little bit more at ease and kind of explain the taboo-ness of this car and doing anything electrical with the car. Actually very easy to interface into, and for an audio system's sake, it's one of the best sounding cars because there's no engine noise, right? So it sounds just as good when the car's not driving as it is when it's driving because there's no audible engine noise to overcome, therefore adding noise into the system. So thank you guys again for following. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching these videos. If you want to contact me for a build, here's my email followed by my phone number. These are the 2 best points of contact for me. Here's our 3 Instagram handles. You can follow us here at any time. Here's my TikTok at the real Matty S. Sometimes I do a lot of build compilation videos of showing things getting built in real time, since you can kind of show multiple videos within one video. And if you're not a subscriber of the channel yet, make sure you hit that bell for notifications every time we drop a new video. Obviously hit subscribe so you can see when we come out with a new video. Obviously check our website to see our full collection of builds, and that will give you an idea of all the things that we've done. You can search by make, model, manufacturer. You can search by build types. All of our YouTube videos are also attached to these albums, these build logs. And of course, all the photos, all the build photos are attached to the build log. So you get way more information all in one place. Check that out, musaicdesign.com. And like always, guys, I appreciate it. And until next time.